A few weeks ago, I packed my bags, flew to New York for the Made by Google event and picked up my Pixel 10 Pro XL. And since then, I have had this in my pocket everywhere I go. From the battery being terrible to loving the cameras.
This is my review of the Pixel 10 Pro XL. It is very, very cold. Winter is here.
Let me start off with the good, and this is a Pixel, so you're going to be getting that mostly flawless Pixel experience. The one thing that I have loved this year is the addition of that quicker charging, and I've noticed this more than anything since choosing the Pixel. Getting to 70% in 30 minutes is a dream, and yeah, it's definitely slower than some other phones you can get, but this is enough. And I am obsessed with Pixelsnap. Like, this is by far the best addition to the Pixel this year. The fact that I can now use MagSafe chargers and wallets and other accessories is more fun than I thought it'd be. And I have used this little expensive kickstand from Google a little bit too much. But where I've really enjoyed Pixelsnap is just on wireless charging, and especially with the Pro XL, because it can charge at 25 watts because it's Qi 2.2. And just the fact that now I can go out and buy any of these chargers from Amazon is so nice because there is so much to choose from. And I really love the quick, clean software experience that you get with a Pixel. And this is where I think the Pixel stands out. It's the cleanest software experience I think you can get on Android. It has some really nicely built-in AI features, and then just some classic Google features like Hold for Me, call screening, and of course, Now Playing. Then you take that clean software experience and put it on, I think, the cleanest designed Android phone that you can get. Then you've got yourself a really good match here. And granted that the design didn't really change at all from last year's phone, but I'm okay with that because Google smashed it with what they did last year. There's also some really nice additions to the Pixel this year. You get that 100 times super res zoom, which I'll talk about later. You have some new, really loud, bassy speakers, like these sound fantastic. And I'm a huge fan of that always on display wallpaper, and I know people don't really like this, but it looks really cool, like it's really clean. It's not too bright, and I was always jealous of the Galaxy S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra for having this, but now I'm really glad we have it on a Pixel. And then that brings me on to the display, which I won't talk about too much because it's pretty much the exact same display as last year. It is brighter, it goes to 3000 nits of peak brightness this year, which is quite nice for being outside. And before I complain about the display, let me just tell you, if you want to get the best out of this display, you need to go into your settings and turn on max resolution, because this is not turned on by default. So if you want to get the best out of it, you need to go into your settings and you need to turn it on, but your battery will probably take a little bit of a hit. Then I move on to the complaints about the display. First off is the bezels. They are big. Compare this to the S25 Ultra or the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and you can see here that the Pixel clearly has the biggest bezels, and you don't notice them after a while, but it's still not great. And then my second complaint is that this display scratches really easily. Like, I'm not sure if you can see on here or not, but I have a really big gash on the bottom of the display there, and this happened within, I don't know, the first 12 hours of having the phone, and I was really careful with it. But yeah, these scratches keep coming. And then sadly, I have a few other complaints about the Pixel 10 Pro XL. First off was the battery. In the first few weeks of having this, it was terrible. Like, I think it might have been the worst battery that I had on any phone, where it's to a point where I wouldn't be able to get close to the end of a day without having to charge this. Like, it was really, really bad. I wasn't doing anything on this phone that was pushing it either, just everyday normal phone usage, Twitter, Instagram, emails, and by around about 5 PM every single day, it was going below 20%. Then I had some issues with the phone itself, where for some reason it would just completely freeze. It would just go all snowy and I couldn't do anything on the phone. Luckily though, in the past couple of weeks, this has got much better. And this is why I'm glad I didn't rush out a full review on this, because if I had done the full review on this thing a couple of weeks ago, I'd have said that the Pixel is really bad and you shouldn't get it. But there has been an update since, which means that now the battery is easily one of the better batteries that I've got on an Android phone, and I can easily get to the end of the day. And this is why I don't rush out the review, because sometimes the phone just needs a little bit of extra time, although really Google, it should never have needed an update to fix those issues. Then it brings me on to the Tensor G5, and this is where I have to say to you, oh, it's not as powerful as the Snapdragon 8 Elite, but yeah, we know that already, and you're not going to buy a Pixel for pure power, and it irritates me that you don't buy a Pixel for pure power, but you would never know that it is not as powerful as the Snapdragon chips. Like for everyday tasks, it is actually on par with the S25 Ultra, and it doesn't slow down, it doesn't stutter, and it keeps up really well. For more intense tasks like exporting video in something like CapCut, it is definitely behind the Snapdragon 8 Elite, but it only takes a few seconds more, but it does get a little bit warmer, but it's not like it's massively far behind the competition. Talking of the phone getting warm as well, I've noticed that sometimes this can just get really hot for no reason at all. I was on a flight a couple of weeks ago and I just accidentally left the camera open. I wasn't recording anything, I wasn't taking any pictures, and this, honestly, it was the hottest thing that I've ever felt in my life. Most of the time it's fine, but occasionally it does just get really hot for no obvious reason. I do feel though that this is the last year that we're probably going to say, oh, you don't buy a Pixel for raw performance, because Google are charging the same amount of money as you would be paying for something like the S25 Ultra, and you know that you're being undercut because the Tensor chip is not as powerful. Granted, I think that software optimization is definitely more important, but I don't know how long we can keep saying it's fine that it's not as powerful. Where the Pixel 10 Pro XL stands out though is in its AI tasks, and I'm only talking about its AI tasks because I didn't realize how much I used AI on the Pixel every single day. Circle to search is something that I use every single day at this point, and so is Gemini. Google also introduced a few new things as well, like Edit For Me and Magic Q. Before I praise Magic Q, let me complain about Edit For Me, because this has not come to the UK, so I have not had a single chance to play with this, and this is something that I was really looking forward to playing with. And if you do use this and you're inside the US, then let me know how this actually works, because honestly, I've not been able to use this at all. Magic Q is something that I actually think has worked pretty well for me, especially on calls. So if I call up somewhere and I have an appointment, it will search my emails and texts and it will give me the right information that I need. It's really useful. The problem is though that this hasn't popped up once for me yet inside an email or a message, and I have purposely been using Google Messages and tried to get everyone I know to switch to RCS messaging, but yeah, so far Magic Q has not turned up in anything other than phone calls. One big part of the Pixel though that AI has grabbed hold of this year is its camera. Google introduced ProRes Zoom this year, meaning that you can zoom into 100 times and still get some pretty good usable photos. And I've got to say, sometimes this has worked really well. First off, it's processed on device, so it is fairly quick, and then it kicks in at 30 times and above. And for the most part, if you're taking pictures of buildings, animals, you get some fairly impressive results. You can see details that would be absolutely lost without using AI, and it adds in realistic looking details where it thinks it needs to be, and it does a fairly good job for the most part, and it doesn't look like you're using AI in the photo to enhance it. ProRes Zoom for the most part is really good, but sometimes it is not great at all. Like, look what it did to Cassie. Like, she looks like some devil dog here, and she doesn't look like that. That might be because it caught a face and it thought it was a person, and we know that ProRes Zoom does not work on people, but there are times though where it makes things genuinely look awful. Like this photo is meant to be a helicopter, and I don't think you'd ever be able to guess what this photo was if I hadn't just told you. Yeah, sometimes it can be pretty bad. This part though is where I can stop complaining, and I have no complaints about the camera and the photos that you can take on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. I still think that the Pixel cameras are some of the best cameras that you can get, and I always struggle to pick out anything that I dislike about them, and this year it's the same. The 50 megapixel main, 48 megapixel ultra wide and telephoto 5x zoom do a really good job. I love a 5x telephoto, and this is my favorite lens again on this year's Pixel. It gives you really sharp detailed images with great contrast, really nice shadows, and if you catch the lighting just right, I would say it's my favorite telephoto zoom on any phone, and I love being far away, but still being able to get quite close to a subject and still be able to show off all of that detail. I can't talk to you too much about the ultra wide because it is definitely my least used lens, but I do feel like you have to make sure that nothing is in the way of that subject, because sometimes the warping around the edges is still there from last year's Pixel 9 Pro. But what I do like is that it handles everything in the photo really well. It does a great job of balancing the shadows, especially when there's a brighter part of the image. And that main camera is just everything good with a phone camera. The photos you get are genuinely some of my favorites on a phone, and I know that with a Pixel, I'm going to get the most lifelike photos out of this one than any other phone. It handles almost any situations well. It might be really dark photos, it could be photos where the light is not great, or it could be days where the sun is incredibly bright and it still looks good. And there's just something about the way the Pixel handles photos, and I just know that no matter what the situation, it might be daylight, it could be low light, that you're still going to get a really good picture out of this phone. I'm a massive fan. As much as I've praised the Pixel for taking pictures, annoyingly, I can't do the same for video. Let me start with the good, and the Pixel video has definitely got better this year. It's not quite iPhone level good, but I'm still more than happy with this. Stabilization on the main lens has improved a lot. It's now one of the smoothest video that you can get on any Android phone. Occasionally you still see those small bumps when you walk, but they're barely noticeable. I would say video on that main lens is very good. On the 5x lens is good, and on the ultra wide is okay. The video has got to a point now where it's good enough for me to put into videos, and no one is going to tell that I'm not using my main camera. There's something really nice now about having good video on a Pixel. Even at nighttime or in low light, the video is really nice here as well. There are times though where if you are in really dark situations, that noise is not very good, and this was using night sight video, so yeah, sometimes it can be pretty bad. My biggest problem is though, there is nothing really pro about the video on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. There isn't really a pro mode. You do get to control the exposure and the white balance, but that is about as far as the pro controls go, and there is still no log recording. The Pixel's big competition is Samsung with the Ultras and Apple with its iPhone 17 Pro, and they both let you record in log. I know it's not a big deal for a lot of people not having a log recording mode, but Google do want people to ditch their iPhones and jump over to Pixel, yet they're not offering some of the pro features that you can get. You can get really good video by using Video Boost on a Pixel, but this again is where my biggest complaint about the video is. You have to make sure you use Video Boost to get the best looking video out of your Pixel, and they do look great, but it is frustratingly slow. You need to switch on Video Boost every single time, and by the time you go into settings and you turn it on, it's almost too late and you miss what you wanted to actually film in the first place. I would love to see a quick toggle on the camera, or just let me have this on by default every single time. Then that second complaint is that it can take hours for your video to process. So if you're like a video creator and you want to take a video of something really quickly and put it into your video, you can't, because you have to use Video Boost to get the best quality video and then just wait forever for the cloud to process it. And maybe this isn't a massively valid complaint, because I'm looking at it from the side of someone who takes videos all the time for videos. And maybe not that many people need to have Video Boost turn around videos that quickly, but yeah, it's a little bit disappointing that there is no pro mode for video. But how do I see this phone overall? Right now, I still think the Pixel 10 Pro XL excels at having the best camera you can get on an Android phone. It's still the cleanest and most minimalist software experience that you can get, and its AI edition is seamless. It's definitely an update you don't need if you have a Pixel 9 Pro or maybe even a Pixel 8 Pro, but if you're upgrading from anything older than that, then you're going to really enjoy what you can get from the Pixel 10 Pro XL. It really shows off what Google can do with less power than its competition. This is where I really want to know your thoughts though on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, especially if you have one, because I want to hear what your experience has been with it, whether it's been plain sailing or whether you had some of the issues that I had. Before you head off, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you do that, then I'll see you in the next one.